Hello and welcome back to Kakepipe Automotive. So this episode is about fixing some of the niggles that we got at the Cadwell Trackday in the previous video. And one of the major things was braking. The brakes were so shit after a few laps. They just got too hot, too quick, too soon, just faded really badly. So in the time since the Trackday, I've managed to pick up some Leon Cooper R 4-pot Brembos from the Mark IV kind of era. And they do come with adapters, as you can see, and they do fit straight onto the Mark III VR6 hubs, but they will need a spacer, a 6mm spacer putting in, but that's fine because I've already got them, because I was going to put on the bigger calipers from the VR6 series anyway. So along with that, heat shielding turned up yesterday for the Corrado, so I can put the heat shields back in the car down the tunnel and stop heat soak from the exhaust onto the tunnel where the brake lines run down, especially the rear brake lines, and that'll stop me burning myself as well, because on the track day it got incredibly hot, like to the point where you couldn't touch it and things started to melt that were attached to it. So we need to sort that issue out as well. So what I'm going to do is just quickly, there's been a previous attempt to strip these down and take the powder coat off. So I'm going to continue that. I'm going to strip them down, take all the seals out, get them down to bare metal. Nitro Moors the fucking life out of them, get them stripped, get all the paint off, get them in the ultrasonic bath, clean them up. And then I've ordered a reseal kit for both calipers, along with new pads, new discs, new fluids. So hopefully for Donington, which is the next track day next month, this month, be May, we should be able to stop. So I'll run you through everything as we go through, but cheers for sticking around, and we'll show you now. Right, so got my Nitro Moors, got my brake caliper, got some gloves, got some brushes, got a cup of tea. Let's start stripping this down and just seeing where we get to. Some of the bolts do look a little bit threaded, some of them don't look the best, so I might have to replace a few things. But we'll go through and speed things up and just break it down as much as we can, and then start getting the powder coat on. This one doesn't need as much, but there's still some heavy spots left, so I'll concentrate on them. I've got the oil drip tray. I'm hoping the Nitro Moors doesn't burn through it, but we will see. So I don't know if you'll see, but on this top edge, it looks like there's just been a bit of damage onto the edge of it. And actually, you can see how it's warped from that damage. So I'll get these replaced as well. You can order these as part of the reseal kit. So I'll just replace everything I can, because then I know the brakes will hopefully work. What an issue that was, getting them out. So the brake pipe that was in it, the brake line fitting just didn't want to come out, so I had to cut the brake line off and then hammer over a 10mm socket over the top and then try and get it out. But it just wanted to kind of move the brake line fitting, so I got a bit warm on it with a blowtorch just to kind of give it a bit of heat, and then it came off fine. So well, this isn't going to plan. So you see all the red stuff that's come off? That looks like paint. Someone painted this caliper on top of the powder coat, which is a darker red, lighter red, darker red. Not doing anything. So yeah, Nitromors isn't working on the Brembo powder coat. So while that's doing nothing to the powder coat, I'm going to get the heat shields outside, give them a good spray down with the jet wash, just try and get the crap off them, and then see what state they're in. So let's go do that now. It is raining, I'm only going to get wet anyway. So I've just given them a quick spray down with some snow foam and just brushed over them just to try and get most of the dirt off. I'll do that again, then I'll jet wash them, and then we'll see how they look like. What I'll do is I'll just store them in the warmer place of the house in the dining room, so they'll dry out nicely overnight. So yeah, they're not coming up already too bad, just with a little brush. So let's get on it.
3 days later.
So here we are, a few days on. I just let them soak in Nitromors as much as I could. It did clean off the top layer of paint on this one. I'm not sure if you'll see it, but it's got two different powder coats on it, I believe, or a weaker paint on it, and it stripped that off quite nicely, but the powder coat is just not touching. So I've contacted a refinishing place near where I live. I'm going to take them to them and let them deal with them, but I don't want them to powder coat them. I want to paint them the same colour as the cage, so that'll be good. So yeah, that's that. Waste of time. So the next job is to move back onto these and get them sorted. So as you can probably see, they're not in the best condition. They're clean, they're just not in the best condition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over stuff like this with some aluminium tape, just patch it back up around the edges to stop it fraying, pull back some of these edges, and just continue all the way around, just tidy things up, get them back. And what I'm going to do is where they hold onto the car, I'm just going to cover this whole area in a few layers of aluminium tape, make them nice and strong again so they hold with the clips, and then we'll get them back on the car. So I'll bring you back shortly. What a pain in the arse that was. So now they're all done. Just gone round, strengthen the bits I wanted to, put tape where I wanted to, punch the holes where I wanted to. It's now time to get them on the car. So there's the first part in. As you can see, not all of the clips are being able to be recovered, but what I will do is just put one of these clips over, and I'm going to use a 13mm on a 1/4 inch and just get it on there and just kind of push as hard as I can. I might even use a hammer just to see if I can push that up to secure it in place a little bit more, just to make them seat a little bit better. So I've got two to put there, look. The front's done, and then this half will go in, and then the rear half will go in. So getting there, it fits quite well, better than I expected. I'm not sure what these two holes are for, but do you know what, they're not interfering with anything, so I'll leave them as they are and crack on. There we go, she's all back in, look. All really nicely done, and I've wrapped the exhaust like before. So I'm hoping that stops a lot of heat soak going up into the tunnel where the brake line is and making the brake fluid hot. So yeah, happy with that. So the next thing on the list is the air intake. So the VR6 doesn't get enough air as it is because of this stupid massive air intake. It flows really badly. You've got 2 ports massively cut out of it. It's got channels. It flows like shit. So the idea is to try and get more air into the intake by either forcing air, so having a forced air induction through the front, and forcing air into the throttle, giving it more air to hopefully push through. But at the same time, the placement of the MAF is important. So if I, like I've had here, the MAF is directly after the air filter, and that'll have turbulent air going straight past and then into the rest of the system. Ideally, the MAF needs to be moved back here and a longer pipe pulling forward to help smooth that airflow out. So it's nice smooth flow for the MAF to sense, then it goes into the system. So I have bought a better than your cheap Lidl special. That was just a last minute purchase. And I've got that out. So I have bought a new ram air filter to put on. But what I think I'm going to do is cut down here, move this down, and then have the pipe come in as far forward as I can towards the headlight. And I'm literally just going to tunnel right through there, straight into the intake. I think, and I'm hoping, that will just make it breathe that little bit better for what the engine needs. So, pretty much like that. So I cut the pipe down here, move the silicon connector back, put the math, what's that, about 7 inches past the filter, trying just to get a smoother flow going through there. What I've done is minimize the gap so it's not stepped, it's just 80mm all the way through, or 78 or 76 or something like that, I can't remember. And then the air filter straight on there. What I will do is I'm going to move this and I'm going to cut that completely out and have a round kind of nozzle going straight in, then straight to the air, and then it can just pull whatever it can. What I don't want is any restriction. So that should help a small amount. Just having better flow into the wanky intake will help somewhat. So yeah, that's another job ticked off. So one of the other issues that I had to kind of work out how to fix was, as you can see, this anti-roll bar, I've been assured it's the right one for the VR6 subframes on the Mark III setup, which this is, but it did rub on this part of the wishbone or the lower arms. So what I've done is I've taken a flap disc to this and just pushed it back quite far where it was rubbing, and then just literally spot welded it with a TIG welder just to seal the 2 parts of the press metal back up, and then sprayed it with some black paint just to protect it. And also, if it does rub, I'll be able to see where it rubs and why it rubs. But I'm hoping, because that's now done on both sides, we're not going to have that issue anymore. But time will tell. It only rubbed a tiny bit on track because of me dropping the drop links down, but it still did rub, especially when I came off and had to go down the back road. I think that's when it rubbed the most. But other than that, I didn't feel any knocking or banging. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. But that's another problem fixed and sorted for the Trackday. So as always, there's always more and more to do and more to get ready. But essentially, I think we're nearly there. Apart from, I'd really like to get the brakes done. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the back from powder coat in time. The discs, the pads and everything won't turn up in time. So I'm not too fussed if they don't turn up. I think I'm going to re-bleed the brakes. I'm hoping the heat shielding stops any kind of heat soak and stuff like that. And we can have quite a nice track day at Donington. I'm hoping in the dry, but it looks like it's going to rain a little bit and it might be a bit damp. So guys, thanks for sticking around. I hope you're liking the content. If you are, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. See you on the next one.